Anthony Adebayo.
With you there, but if you're a coach, do you take that chance?
Yes.
You can reach us at the Off the Record Show at gmail.com. Anthony Adebayo and the most accurate sports coverage. Scotty B's Fantasy 5.
We're different from any other sport.
His sophomore year. Comes back and says, you know what?
And your boy, Scotty B.
What's up, man?
You just had to
Yeah, to beat you. Yeah, I had to beat you to the punch. What's up? How you doing?
I'm well. I'm swell. This is Off the Record. I'm Anthony Adebayo.
It's your boy Scotty B.
I don't know who this guy.
You don't know who I am, man. You have no idea who I am.
All right, so I mean, how you been? How's everything going?
For the most part, pretty well. Little nervous about this show, but
what is it?
hey, man, the Wednesdays after a 49er loss are always interesting shows. So
I would say this. I got this hat, right? And I swear to God, until last night, I didn't know this is a Long Beach State University hat, right?
Okay.
You know, I always get like different hats just because I like it. I had no clue that their nickname was the 49ers.
But you know what? I saw it and I was like, you know what? I'm in for a long night.
Pause,
because I'm not in anything. Well, hold on. I'm not even go that route. But yeah, when I saw it, I said, damn. I was like, he got us with the bumblebee colors, and then I said,
nah, I wouldn't do that, man. Or would I? I mean, you know, but nah, it was just I would say it was more of a coincidence than anything else. I mean, I know I could get a little petty, but I ain't gonna say damn, I didn't even think of that. It was good though. It was indirectly pretty genius, if I say so myself.
So let me ask you, because we're two petty individuals. Out of us, who's pettier?
I think it depends. I think it depends on the situation. I can't be petty, but I'm not. Listen.
I think you got me beat. I think most people that know me will say that I'm a petty individual, but I've seen you put your mind to petty, and when you put your mind into it and you throw all your energy into it, you're pretty up there.
I try not to be. Man.
Yeah. You try not to be, but if it gets your attention, you get be pretty.
That is true. That's true. Yeah, you're right. But here's the thing. It's like the old adage. You can do anything if you put your mind to it. Let me see something real quick. I gotta do a wardrobe change. I just wanted to. What? No, you know what? So if you don't, this is Bengals. I got a Bengals hat. I'm a chill. So you want to start there?
Might as well.
Just for the record, Burrow sent me this. He said he was waiting for you because you said, a couple weeks ago you was trying to be funny in our little group chat with our family, and so you said you was gonna buy me a Dak jersey, and I told you don't buy me no because I already got one, and I said give me a Burrow jersey. I'm still waiting. But
see, this is what I'm talking about, y'all. Right? So he's a Cowboy fan.
I am.
And the pettiness is he wore a Long Beach 49er shirt to my cap, to my house.
I didn't know.
Long Beach State 49ers. Yeah. 5 minutes into the episode, he changes his cap and puts on a Bengal cap to troll me. And there you have it, folks. This is the most pettiest individual.
Oh.
And really, honestly, I brought up the petty conversation. I didn't even know he was even going to do this. But this is the type of stuff that he surprises me with. Your petty goes just it's off the charts. But go ahead, on play along.
No.
On play along, because
So, I mean, because there's a ton of things we have to talk about.
Okay.
Right? We could talk about last week's game or games. We will. But this week's games, we have Cowboys and Eagles. You guys have a bye that was much needed. And we'll talk about, because I feel like we'll talk about like placements of buys, right? Because right now, the teams that go overseas, they have the choice to have their bye the following week or just play. I know the Ravens didn't take their bye. They're gonna take their bye a little later. And is a early bye better or a late bye?
So honestly, I didn't think it really mattered until I watched my team. Not to make any excuses, because it just was a win for the Bengals.
Right.
But I could clearly see the advantage that they had coming off of a bye
Mm-hmm.
to the advantage that we didn't have being tired. Did it affect the outcome of the game? I'm not going to go that far, but I will say that you could definitely tell the teams that have a later bye, they're not as fresh, and you can definitely see the difference. I'll just use the Cowboys as an example too, that when teams are starting to come off that bye, they just look more energized. They look more, rested.
And so, like, I think that, let's use the Bengals for example. Everybody knows Joe Burrow's been injured. His calf's been bothering him. He didn't look like he had an issue yesterday, and last week, and that was coming off a bye. So I do think that bye, the bye is always going to help, no matter where it is. But I think like the timing of it, because I know there's a couple. I think the Cardinals and the Commanders have like a week 14 bye, right? And I feel like that's too late. Like I think that all the buys should be over before week 14. That's after Thanksgiving, So that to me feels like is like too late. I think a buy in week 4 or 5, I feel like could be too early. So I think you got, like, it just so happens that your buy is after 3 straight losses, which is like needed.
But it actually came at the right time.
Right.
We'll get into it. I think the Chase thing, the time that of having him traded and being able to prep and get some of those players that have been hurt back after the bye. So definitely the timing, but I do think placement of buys is going to be critical moving forward.
All right, so we'll talk. We'll talk about this game. 49ers Bengals. I thought it was one of the better games of Sunday. Not because of the outcome, just the teams and what's going on. So I go back a few weeks ago and I told you that your secondary wasn't that good, and they're pretty much living off of the fame of the front seven, right?
Okay.
I think that came to fruition on Sunday.
So, okay. And let's start there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I will agree that the secondary is the weak spot of our team.
Right.
But I'm a firm believer in the NFL too. Some of it has to do with coaching as well, right?
Okay.
I think that sometimes if you put your players out of position, you're going to magnify certain things. And I'm not putting it all on the defensive coordinator, but typically the trait of our defense or the identity of our defense is we have a strong front four. We don't really blitz. The front four gets to everybody.
Right.
And that's how we do our pass rush. What that helps cover up with our secondary is when you have your front four getting to the quarterback and you're not having to send a blitz, you can adjust your coverage schemes a lot different.
Absolutely.
And that's been able to mask some of the things that we do, create confusion and drop more people back in coverage and get our cornerbacks a lot of help.
Right.
So this particular week, and Wilkes, he's a new coordinator because, of course, DeMarco Ryan, he went to Houston or whatnot.
Right.
Typically, in his history, he likes to send a lot of blitzes and he likes to dial up a lot of blitzes, and that's been his MO. That's not going to work with the way that we're constructed. And I think what our front office, John Lynch, tried to do is, okay, we'll go out there and we'll get Chase and we'll put him opposite side of Bosa, and hopefully that'll be more of a pass rush to where we can start adjusting the coverage to doing some of the things that we are able to do. Now, is that sport tackling? And that can be attributed to being tired, but it was a lot of poor tackling. On top of the fact that Burrow, I mean, he put the ball where it needed to be. You can't really all put it on the pass rush. You can't really all put it on the cornerbacks. He hung in there, and he put the ball. The middle of the field was open a lot of the times because they were running zone to help the DBs, and they were sending extra people in the middle of the field was open all night, and he was taking advantage of it. So it is some issues with the secondary, but I've got to give the Bengals a little bit of credit for having a good offensive plan. Us, not so much credit for not having a good defensive plan and adjusting to what the Bengals were doing for the second week in a row. And I think we'll get better. I have a lot of confidence with that, but I can't put it really all on the DBs.
All right, so let me ask you this, because I saved this question since yesterday because I saw a lot of people excited about the Chase trade. I think it's a trade. To me, it doesn't do anything to me. It doesn't move me one way or the other, right? I think it's just an injury-prone player. Who's playing pretty well right now that got traded, right? My thing is, why not go get a DB? Chicago's young corner was there. Now, maybe you guys probably just didn't have. The Bears probably wanted more than just a third for that young corner. But why not get more secondary help?
So it's a good question, right? So you have two different arguments going on with 49er fans, right?
Okay.
So you've got one facet of fans that believes that the front seven or the front four is not giving the pressure on the quarterback. They believe that the other side, opposite Nick Bosa, is not winning their battle.
Nick Bosa's not winning his battle.
I'm just outlining it, right?
Okay.
You have another facet of myself that feels like if we had strong corners, I feel like the pass rush, it's not getting there like it got there a year ago, but it's not terrible, right? So to me, it would have been better to go out there and get a corner. The issue is deeply rooted in what you said, right? So you said that the cornerbacks stink. But historically, we have not really necessarily had strong corners.
Right.
The defense has always been built between the defensive line and the front seven.
Right.
So historically, I feel like the identity of the 49ers, they feel like if we get a strong front four or a strong front seven, the secondary will take care of itself because we could disguise it with coverages and we can get more into what they do. So I think that was a lot of the thought process. The other thing too is we had 3 compensatory third round picks that we were going to get for DeMarco Ryans going. There was a couple other. So I think they were going to
trade them. I don't think you can trade them.
Yeah, we were able to trade it. Yep.
Okay.
So it's going to turn into another pick. So the thought process with that is like, okay, the Bears probably did a little more capital than we were willing to give up. But we got 3 third rounders and we're giving away one of our compensatory picks that we relatively get a young guy that's playing really good in he's injury prone, but this year he's playing good.
Right.
He's winning 25% of his lineup battles for Washington. He wasn't the best DN on Washington, but we were able to get him for relatively cheap. So I think that's where the thought process was.
So and that's fair. Now there was a lot of talk because you guys made a move for Chase Young, the Seahawks made a move for Leonard Williams, the Eagles made a move for Kevin Byard, right? Even Detroit made a move for Donovan Peoples-Jones, which I'm like, he's just a guy. I don't, and I say, to me, it says none of those. Now I would say Montez Sweat to the Bears does something, right? Because as crazy as it sounds, they could still win that division. It ain't like they're out of it,
right?
Not saying that they are going to win the division, but it was to say Fields comes back and they play a little better. I mean, they've looked pretty decent the last few weeks. So anyway, I saw a lot of people making comments about Dallas not making any trades, and I get it, right? I totally understand it. You knew that Devontae Adams wasn't going nowhere, and he just cost way too much. And then with Derrick Henry, which that was the big thing. Derrick Henry. Listen, if we would have got Derrick Henry, that would have been fine. But you kind of saw that after Tennessee won, and the way they won on Sunday, they weren't trading any of those. They wasn't trading D-Hop. They wasn't trading Derrick Henry. They traded Kevin Byard, but to me, he's washed. I mean,
we got to go back there. But I will say this, right? I feel like the Eagles won the trade deadline. I like what the Eagles did, and I wish we would have took the same approach that they did to address their secondary. Even though they didn't make a splash yesterday, a week ago, that's their trade there.
400 yards to Sam Howell. Ooh. Now I guess you could say, to be fair, Kevin Byard was only there a few days, right?
I think it's gonna.
He ain't a corner. He is safety. I
think it's going to play. I think it's going to play dividends, and maybe like I say, you look at Dallas, right? You guys needed a running back. Not needed a running back. We'll say that was like the wish list. That was like the wish.
Here's the thing. And I'm just being whatever, but if we would have got Zeke back, that would have helped. You know what I'm saying? Here's the thing. I don't think we're in dire need of a running back, right? I think that people see Tony Pollard not having the explosive plays he had last year and the year before last. And I could totally understand that. I agree with that. But I think that we've gotten decent contribution from our running game. Here's the thing. We don't need to run that much. Like, I know
Derrick Henry. He not needed him, but I feel like I liked what the Eagles did. I like what Seattle did, and I like ultimately what we did. Now, does that mean that every team needs to go out there and make a move? No, because there's draft picks associated with it. But I did like what went on.
Yeah. So I agree too. Did the camera go out?
Wow.
I don't know, but we'll keep on talking because.
So somebody put up that Leonard Fournette went to Buffalo, was great. Would have been a great free agent pickup for Dallas.
Right. That would have. I mean, what's the difference between Leonard Fournette and what's his name? Ezekiel Elliott. They're both washed. I wouldn't even say that they're washed, but they're. I mean, it's not gonna be like, oh,
So Taylor Swift coverage. Are you tired of it?
Yes. I was tired of it when it started. I didn't care about it. I thought it was stupid. Now they have a graphic that they're 4-0 with her there, and the production is no, they play sorry teams. It wasn't like they played great teams when she played when she showed up. I think here's the thing. I think that it's good marketing for Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. I think it's good marketing for them. I think it's great for Travis Kelce and the Chiefs. I mean, the Chiefs are right now the standard of the NFL. They're the darling. I could care less about. I'd rather see what's the Olympian.
Simone Biles.
Yeah,
She was
Biles.
She was at Packers game.
Because
Yeah.
her boyfriend plays for the Packers.
So I got a question. We're on the Chiefs, Pauls. Or we're speaking about the Chiefs.
Right.
Were you surprised that they didn't go out there and get another receiver?
Yeah. I mean, because I think that anybody would have helped. I mean, now if they would have went and got Donovan Peoples-Jones, I would have been like, okay. You know, I mean, he gets to play with Patrick Mahomes. I think that's going to come back in. I think that's going to come back and bite him in the butt eventually. You know, so I don't think that they're going to I think they have a really good defense. And that defense is going to keep them in a lot of games. And having Patrick Mahomes is gonna, that's the ultimate equalizer. It's Patrick Mahomes. He's the best player in the league. Anybody else can win MVP, whatever. It's like when LeBron was clearly the best player in the league. They didn't want him to win MVP every year. Want him to win MVP every year. So, yeah.
So I will say this, right? So the Chiefs last year, they had a lot of defensive rookies, and their team
rookies. Period.
Yeah. Their team grew up during the season, and come playoff time, they was ready. And I think that made, I ain't gonna say the difference, but it contributed to why they were the Super Bowl champion last year, because the defense was able to develop, and they're reaping the benefits now. Could we possibly see something similar like that on the offensive side of this group? As like you said, they're playing with Patrick Mahomes. Maybe they all grow up on offense. I was surprised that they didn't push for another receiver, because outside Travis Kelce, everybody else has been hit or miss. It almost reminds me of the old days with the Patriots.
Yep. They had Gronk. And
it was like, who else is he throwing the ball to? So
let me ask you this. This is a fantasy football type thing. What if they had somebody like Justin Jefferson?
I mean, you would see something similar to what you saw when they had Tyreek Hill. I think,
or even let's because that may be asking Jordan Addison. Did they have a bye last week? No, they played. They won. They won. They beat Green Bay. But I think he had a coming out party the week before.
But why wouldn't they go out there and try to get Devontae Adams? We got to get this whole Raider situation.
They wasn't gonna.
I know they wasn't gonna budge on that, but if you know that you're going to get rid of your GM, you're going to get rid of your coach.
I don't know if they knew they was going to do that. I think after Monday they had to.
I think the writing on the wall.
Well, yeah, they was gonna get fired eventually. I didn't think they was gonna get fired last night.
Yeah,
this morning actually is. So here's the thing: do they deserve to be fired? Absolutely. I think they did a terrible job. Josh McDaniels is not a good head coach. I think he's gotten all these chances, and for what? I think he's a good coordinator, a terrible coach.
So this brings the question. It's been the question all day: is Bill Belichick's coaching tree overrated?
Yeah. Overrated? Are they rated?
No, I know.
Bill Belichick's coaching tree stinks. They're terrible. They're terrible.
Outside of Nick Saban, that's the only one that I get. But in the NFL,
but is he really Belichick's coaching tree, or is he more?
he's coached with Belichick, so I don't know if you can really.
Was he with the Giants too?
So he was the defensive coordinator of the Browns.
Right.
I don't know. That's a good question. I wonder what people think. Is Nick Saban considered on Bill Belichick's tree? That's a good question. I've always considered.
I don't know if he's on Bill Belichick's. I don't think he's built. He's done so much that he has his own tree, and I guess everybody eventually will have their own tree if you're a head coach. But I wouldn't consider him part of Bill Belichick's head coaching tree.
So I think the difference between Nick Saban is he's created his own lane, right? You know what I mean? So Nick Saban, when you look at his style of play, you look at Bill Belichick, it doesn't really look as similar. You know what I mean? To where, the Bill O'Briens and Matt Patricias and Josh McDaniels and Charlie Weisses of the world, like all those guys that have been just unsuccessful everywhere. You see print of they try to bring the Patriot way to a different organization, and the reality is, I don't know if the Patriot way works anywhere other than with the Patriots.
So let me ask you this: Who would you say right now has the best coaching tree?
The best. So I used to say it was Parcells. I like
currently. I mean, I don't think there's any. I think Belichick is from Parcells' coaching tree. So
I would say Andy Reid.
Okay, you say Andy Reid. I don't. I say Sean McVay.
Sean McVay has a good one with Kyle Shanahan, Matt LaFleur.
Kevin O'Connell.
Yeah.
Hold on 1 second. I ain't done yet, Scotty. I'm sorry. Speaking. Kevin O'Connell is part of.
Yeah, see, this guy is petty. This guy is willing to put on a Vikings hat, a 49er hat, and a Bengal hat just to get under my skin. But I want to tell you, man. When Ant goes low, I'm going high. I'm keeping the high road today, man. I'm not doing this today, man.
Listen, all right, y'all. All right, listen. No, I do. I think currently, you gotta take me serious with this. I would never thought I would ever have a Vikings hat, but
I gotta show this. And Marcus, you are absolutely dead on.
Oh man,
Pure asshole.
But Sean McVay does have. Why does this camera keep on acting crazy? But Sean McVay does have a great coaching tree. Huh?
Yeah, he does have a great coaching career.
Yeah, I mean, because isn't the coach for what's the name of that team? The Bengals. Is he? I think he's McVay too, right? Or no?
You talking about that's name not Taylor, is it?
Yeah, Zach Taylor.
Zach Taylor. I don't know if he's on that coaching tree. I have to do a little bit more research with that. But shout out to before we get too far removed from this, talking about the coaching tree. Shout out to Anthony Pierce. He is the interim coach of the Raiders. I don't know if you heard his press conference today, but I mean, he was fired up, man. And I mean, he sounded like Campbell of the Detroit Lions, to where he just sounded like a player, and he just inspired you to want to play for him. So I'm excited to see how he's going to help change the culture with the Raiders.
Now, what I do hope is that he gets a fair shot. Now, with the Raiders, here's the thing. I feel like they should have stayed with what is it? Not Biotis, but is it Biotis?
You talking about the guy that took over for Gruden?
Correct.
Yeah, no, I agree. They should have gave him an opportunity, but I think that a lot of people, you look at the success of anybody off of with the Patriot, and you want to bring that to your organization, and they thought that they had something with Josh McDaniel. I mean, we saw that when he was our coach at Denver, he didn't have much success. So you think like, okay, well, he goes back to being an assistant, and those years of being an assistant would pay off for him.
Sorry about that. With the, I guess my petty it goes to the camera too, and it be had some technical difficulties, but y'all can still hear us and cool. But yeah. So I mean, I think Antonio Pierce. We'll see how he does. I know him as a player. I don't really know of him as a coach, but I mean, clearly he's done enough within that organization so he gets the interim job. And I mean, I wish him the best, even though he played for Washington and the Giants, but it is what it is. There's another black head coach, and we'll see what happens.
So the only thing that hopefully he does a good job, but that Raider team is lacking a lot of talent. And they've made a lot of poor decisions to put him in a bad boat. Chasing Derek Carr out of town, I don't know if was the smartest decision without having a real true contingency plan.
Right.
Like, it wasn't like they drafted somebody and they had them waiting in the wings. Their contingency plan was, okay, we're going to go after Jimmy Garoppolo, which I have nothing negative to say about Jimmy Garoppolo, but I think most people would rather take Derek Carr.
Nothing negative to say about Jimmy Garoppolo?
He plays for the Raiders, so I don't have any.
Stinks.
He is what he is, though.
Was he this many turnovers, interceptions? I don't think he's ever.
He took care of the ball, but he was not asked to do the things that he's being asked to do with the Raiders. I think Bill Belichick and Kyle Shanahan understood his limitations.
Right.
And that's important when you have a quarterback, is you got to understand what they can do and what they can't do.
Would they rather? I'm sure they would rather have Derek Carr right now.
Oh, absolutely. Now, Derek Carr, I've been critical of him.
Mm-hmm.
I think that he's a solid quarterback. Can he get you over the hump? Probably not, but that's a different conversation, right? He's a good quarterback. Are you going to win playoff games with him? Is he going to be a championship caliber quarterback? Not. Yeah, more likely not.
All right, well, let's get to the winner of the week. All right. I can't believe I have one of the Vikings hat. This is amazing.
No, you're a winner. No, you're a winner. No, you're a winner. No, you're a winner.
No.
Yeah, my winner of the week this week is Ant.
Oh my God.
For coming in my house and thinking that changing to a Browns hat and a Vikings hat and oh, I swear to God. I swear to God. I swear to God. I swear to God. The pettiest individual that I've ever met, man.
Sorry, man. I apologize. Now go ahead.
Now you are my winner of the week, man. You are my winner of the week. Yeah, go ahead and comment.
Okay. If I must.
Yeah, you got to.
Well, listen, y'all. I was always told to remember what people say to you and how they treat you. And I remember a few weeks ago when a good young man to my right over here said, "A real nigga need to be humble. Somebody's gonna kick our ass, and it's not gonna be the Browns." I remember that day vividly because we got into a heated debate about because the Cowboys just lost to the 49ers. And I told them, I said, you better not lose to the Browns. You know, they got a third string quarterback off the street. They got backup running back. And what happened? Was it Jake Moody? Is it Jake Moody?
Yeah, go ahead.
He missed the field goal. And then Kirk Cousins, before he ruptured his Achilles, did a number to the 49ers. Then my guy Joe Burrow. And I know we've had this back and forth with the 49ers and the Cowboys, you know, and I thought to myself, I said, you know what? I remember the year that and I'm not saying I ain't saying we're gonna win the championship, but it is what it is. But I do remember that year that the Buccaneers won the championship. They lost to the Saints twice in the regular season. And one of those times, I want to say they lost like 31-3 or something crazy. And I said, you know, I've seen teams win the Super Bowl the same year they got blown out. You know, it happens. You know, but I just want to let you know from the bottom of my heart that when the 49ers lose, it makes me feel so good. I know I said, you know, we got to record. And don't kick me out the house now. Don't kick me. So here's my thing. And I'm asking you this, and I'm being serious because I'm telling you now, everybody watching, everybody listening, y'all got Jacksonville next week in Duval. If y'all lose to the Jags and lose 4 in a row, because you're saying that y'all haven't got nothing to worry about right now, right?
No, we don't.
Nothing to worry about. Okay, which is what I thought, right? But if y'all lose to the Jags and lose 4 in a row, at that moment, will y'all have something to worry about?
No. No. With fairness,
okay.
This is 49er football. We'll make the adjustments. We always do.
Okay, that's fair. All right, now, so the following week after that, because we just talked about coming off buys, and you should be fresh. Now, do I think y'all gonna lose to the Jags? I don't know. If I had to pick right now, I might slide to the 49ers. I don't know, because they're coming off a bye, but they're on the road going across country. So I don't know. But what I will say is y'all got the Bucks after that. And I think y'all gonna I think when y'all get to the Bucks, y'all gonna destroy the Buccaneers. I do feel like that. But then I don't remember who y'all
We got the Seahawks. Look, at the end of the day, other than really the Eagles, Jacksonville is a tough team, and there's one more, the Ravens in there. The Seahawks, we got the Seahawks twice. We got the Commanders. I mean, at the end of the day, if you look at it, we're 5-3. We're 5-3.
Can we run through your schedule real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
You can tell me. And be unbiased.
Yeah, I'm gonna be unbiased.
All right, Jags.
I think we're gonna beat them.
Buccaneers.
I think we're gonna beat them.
At the Seahawks. I
think we split with them.
So
right?
Which one is it?
So we'll probably lose at the Seahawks and then win at home.
Okay, so that's at the Seahawks is on November 23rd.
Yeah.
December 3rd, y'all at the Eagles. Hold on, time out. That's fucked up. The fact that they got y'all going to Seattle. But I think that's a Thursday night game. That's Thanksgiving. So that's Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
10 days later, you go to the Eagles. December 3rd.
The Eagles are going to be a tough game. I think the Eagles is the best team in the NFL right now.
I disagree.
I think
the Eagles are the best team in the NFL. You'll change that by Sunday.
So it's going to be interesting, right? You think you're going to beat the Eagles?
I think we're going to win fairly easily.
Really?
Yeah, I think we'll win by 2 scores. Whether it's a touchdown and a field goal, 2 touchdowns.
So I'll say this: you guys looked good last week.
I ain't even about last week. It's a couple of reasons. Secondary's bad. They're already talking up Hurts. That's going to be the excuse.
Was knees hurt? Yeah.
They're going to say he's hurt. I feel like defensively, I know that secondary is not the greatest, but I feel like defensively they've taken a step back. And I've said it since the summertime, and I've been telling you, losing coordinators and losing all those starters is going to put the team. Yes, they're 7-1, or they're 7-1. They don't even look the same. And does AJ Brown look better? Yeah, but I'm not worried. Here's the thing: there's only again, I'm not being funny. I don't want you to think, oh, he's a Cowboys fan. We're the only team that hasn't allowed 100-yard rusher, 100-yard receiver. Only team. You can say you can bring up 42-10. That's fine, but you ain't have a 100-yard rusher. You ain't had a 100-yard. You ain't have a 100-yard receiver. The only team in the NFL that hasn't given up a 100-yard rusher, a 100-yard receiver. And I don't think it's going to change. I think that Dak right now, Dak is hot, right? And people can say what they want. He is, right? And I feel like right now, I'm about to shut up because I kind of feel like you.
And I feel like you. So, and I'll be unfair with this. The expectation that the Cowboys should beat the Eagles is kind of unfair, right? The Eagles are the best team in the NFL right now.
You can say the NFC. They're not better than the Ravens. They're not better than they beat Miami, but they're not better than the Ravens. They're not better than the Ravens.
So we'll limit it to the NFC, right?
Mm-hmm.
I
agree there right now.
I think this is a benchmark game. If you win, then I think the league is on notice. We have to take the Cowboys seriously. I think right now it's still the notion, regardless if you guys beat up on the Rams, you beat up on the Chargers, is when the lights are bright, certain people would disappear. You have the opportunity during this game. Yeah, go ahead.
In December, we played the Eagles. Was that a bigger game or benchmark game? We had just lost to the Jags in overtime.
I think the reality and why it's a bigger game and why it's critical is us losing 3 in a row. Now you start to see a sense of blood in the NFC, right? You see a team that everybody kind of put here, even myself, right? We put us up there at the top of the NFC. And teams are looking and saying, you know what? We could beat them. As you just spoke of the Eagles, right? They're 7-1. I have the best team right now that I see, and we're limited to the NFC.
Okay.
But you feel like you could beat them. You got the Lions, to where we watched the Lions. I forgot who destroyed them a couple of weeks ago.
The Ravens.
Yeah, the Ravens, demolished them, which the Ravens, you're right. I got to give the Ravens their credit too, because they're 6-2 too. They're right. They could
easily be 8-0.
Right. Exactly. Right. So, you got the Ravens there, but you got the Lions that are sitting pretty in the NFC, but they can be beat too, right?
Right.
So then you have y'all. All right. So I'm not trying to be funny, but a lot of people will reference the 49er game. Now,
that makes sense. That was probably at that time, and probably still probably the biggest game of the year.
Right. So a lot of people look at that game and they say, you know what? If that team beat that team like that, they're not that good. Now, since then, it's a lot of things have transpired, right?
Because I think anybody that would think like that would be, I would consider you dumb if you think that because they lost that they're not that good, that they lost like that.
A lot of people think like that, but I think this is the opportunity to change that narrative, right? So I think that it is pretty consistent, and we all know what the talking heads. We know everybody says the accident waiting to happen. You can't win the big one. Right. Blah 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 blah. Right? You got the opportunity to showcase to the world
That's true.
that you're to be reckoned with. And I think it's a benchmark game to where if you lose, people expect you guys to lose. If you win, then it's really what can everybody really say? Because then if you win, you've got one of the top records in the NFC.
Mm-hmm.
You have had notable wins this year, blowouts. Dak is playing hot. It looks like CeeDee Lamb is back on track, and everything is intact. So really, if you win, we got to give you the respect. If you lose, it feels like we've seen this story before. And that's going to be the narrative that most people are going to push.
So let me ask you this. So because thinking that we're going to sweep the Eagles, I don't think that we sweep the Eagles, right? Now, if we win this game, it's highly likely that we're going to sweep them because not necessarily. I won't even say highly likely because NFC East, anything, especially in the division game, but I get that. I totally understand that, but I'm just from what I see, and from what I see with them, I think we match up well. I feel like the spread is a 3-point spread at home, which is almost like a push because you automatically get 3 points, so it's a pick'em game. Right.
Yeah, and look, I'm not going to deny that you shouldn't be hopeful, and I can see what you.
Hopeful?
Yeah, I can see what you see in it. It's a benchmark game, and unfortunately, your team when time show up hasn't traditionally shown up. So there is that doubt, regardless of
that is to me that I don't know where that comes from. I mean, because you can say that about Sean. You can say that about the Eagles. I mean, you say when it's time to show up, they don't show up. Like, because we lost in the playoffs. Y'all lost in the NFC Championship.
Yeah, we've
2
lost
years in a row.
Yeah, exactly. So
The Eagles.
So I'll tell you what it means, right?
Mm-hmm.
It means maybe be the darling of the regular season, right? You'll go 12-4. You may go 12-4, but when it comes to getting over that hump, it's been a long time since they've went deep in the playoffs and people have legitimately, outside of Cowboy fans, have recognized the Cowboys team and said, you know what? They're a Super Bowl contender. Now, what's different this year is I think they're playing really well. If they knock off the Eagles, maybe it's time to start acknowledging the Cowboys as contenders. You know what I mean? As possible really Super Bowl champions, a team that's legitimately ready to take the next step. And I think that's what it is. If you lose, it's a lot of the same, right? Because people feel like, you know what, you've been good, but when it counts, will that team win? And that's what this is you guys' opportunity. I mean, all the pieces are there. You guys are healthy. You guys are right there. Like,
when the last time the Eagles beat a team that Dak started?
When?
2017.
Like I said, we'll see. I think me personally, and I don't know about everybody is listening out there. If you win, I might be able to acknowledge the Cowboys as like, hey, this is a team that we have to worry about. If you lose, it's a bunch of rah-rah show stuff that I've already seen before.
So you don't think like moments matter? Like because I feel like and I understand that. So I'm with you. Like, but I think how you lose matters as well.
Yeah, no, definitely, right. But I think that unfortunately your credit is all up. And right now, we're looking for you to pay somebody, right? You know what I mean? Like you're at your credit limit. So where everybody is thinking like, yo, are you going to pay? Are you going to put up and you're going to do it? Now, I do think there has been a rally of us against the world that's led by Micah Parsons to where he's kind of put it out there that, hey, you don't have the same energy for the Eagles. You don't have the same energy for the 49ers. You don't have some of the same energy for the other teams. And I'm tired of being disrespected. And I see a little bit of a rallying behind him and a rallying behind Dak to where, they're looking to like, hey, let's band together and let's see, it's us against the world. Let's take it over. But we're at the point to where when are we going to stop talking and actually do? Now, I do think that all the points that you brought up are valid, right? You can't discredit what we've seen this year, but at some point, we just need that push because they have all of it. And I think that's been the frustration with watching the Cowboys. You see the talent, you see it on paper, you see it when it comes together, you see it in the game, you see the talent there, but are they going to put it all together and show the world how good that they're capable of? That's the question for Sunday.
Okay. All right. So Phil asked the question. We'll take his question. I think he asked it more than once. Who are the top 5 teams in the NFL? Here's the thing. I'll give my top 5. Do you have a top 5?
I do.
All right. So I'll also be on the lookout. I'm going to do a prediction. You going to do a prediction too? Well, I'm going to do a prediction video. So y'all look out. And so it'll help you with your bets this weekend. Because I know some of y'all like to do some parlays. So we'll see. We'll see. But we got I guess we could go on order. Who 5?
I think right now we're number 5. Even with the 3 losses.
You are a biased son of a gun. No, you got shot at 5.
Absolutely.
Jesus.
When we get back healthy, which would be after the bye, and with every piece that we have, we'll be fine. I contribute the Browns to sloppy play, that basically happened.
Mm-hmm.
I consider Minnesota to being a little overhyped, overlooking them, and not making adjustments to a hot quarterback. And I contribute the Bengals to fatigue and not making game adjustments. Wow.
Well, we could. That's fine. That's fine. We'll y'all gonna get the old school radio. Y'all about to get the radio for the top 5. All right. So, my number 5 are the Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay.
And I feel like that because I think that the receiver issue is the only thing holding them back from being, what are they? They're 5-2, right?
Right. And Patrick Mahomes was hurt. I mean, he was sick. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but they still had a shot to win if they catch the damn ball. So that's why I have them at 5. I know they didn't make a move, but I feel like the defense is going to continue to play well. And if Patrick Mahomes get hot, it don't matter who the hell is playing receiver. They just have to make the plays. All right. Number 4.
So I've been struggling with this, right? So I was going to say the Chiefs. I would say Baltimore.
You got Baltimore at 4?
Yep.
Wow.
So when I've seen them play, the defense is solid, but I'm not sold on the running game and that the offense has gelled like it's capable of gelling.
Right.
So I haven't been all the way sold on them. I have to acknowledge that they're a really good team, but right now I've got to see that offense come together a little bit more.
Okay. All right. So I don't have Baltimore at 4. At 4 I have Miami. I have Miami at 4. I think that just like you say about the Cowboys, I think they're a little worse, because they had 2 opportunities. The Bills are like they're kryptonite in that division right now, and when they had an opportunity to go against the Eagles, they didn't put up. you know, so they ended up losing that game. But everybody else, I mean, they scored 70 against Denver. They beat New England twice. Who else did they beat? Was it the Jets? I think it was the Jets. So, I mean, their wins aren't that, you know, when you like, you know, peel layers back, it's like, so they have to get that I guess that big win. They don't have it yet, you know. So that's why I have them at 4. I mean, they could easily be 1 if you know that, but they have Jalen Ramsey's back now. So I mean, that may change things. So yeah, I have them at 4. You want me to go for 3?
Yeah, you can go for 3.
I got, and you know, I'm gonna go here, and I have a feeling that it's gonna come back to bite me in the butt on when we back here next week. But I got the Jags at 3. They got the longest current winning streak. Etienne is balling. I think he's scored 2 touchdowns. I think before he scored twice on last Sunday.
Right.
Yeah, he scored like 2 touchdowns the last 3 or 4 games or something like that. Last 3 games, and they're finding ways to win. You know, going to Pittsburgh isn't easy for anybody. No matter how good or bad Pittsburgh is, playing at Pittsburgh is tough. And for them to get that win, I think that they're the number 3. So yes, hold on one second, Scotty. So yes, we got the camera off because we having some technical difficulties. So we taking it back to the radio days when you know what I'm saying, when we was on Bliss and we was on repping VA. We going back to the radio day. So if you can hear us, just give us a thumbs up or just say, damn, we can't hear y'all. Okay. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So I got the Chiefs
At 3?
Yeah. Number 2, it's interesting that you brought up the Jags because I was like, dang, where do I put the Jags? Because they've been playing good football, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can't discredit them. But I believe I'm just going to go with the Lions. I think I kind of screwed my order up a little bit.
Ooh.
I would probably push the Lions down, but I've got to put the Lions on this list. I'm going Lions over Jags for this list.
Okay. All right.
But
okay.
I can't push.
I got Lions at 6. But
Yes. Yeah, so my dilemma is I can't put us higher than 5 just because of the past performance. I do believe we're top 5. Huh?
Nothing. It's your list.
Yeah, absolutely. But
I definitely don't think y'all top 5 team in the league right now.
We absolutely are.
No, you're not. Okay. But hey, it's your list. So my number 2 is the Philadelphia Eagles. I have the Eagles at 2. And I'm going to be fair. I'm not going to be crazy. The Eagles are at 2. I think that they're 7-1. They're 7-1. They have a terrible loss to the Jets. But you know, they
Your number 1 cannot possibly be who I think it is.
So hold on. So the Eagles are number 2. They haven't. I'll put it like this: they haven't been impressive. Now AJ Brown has made some tremendous catches in traffic, and I give them that. But they haven't looked impressive. In I mean, Miami game they were good. But watching them play against the Patriots, against the Jets, against the Commanders twice, I'm just like, it's something off. And I know what the off is. You lost half of your starters from last year. You lost both coordinators, you know, and it just doesn't look good. You know, I've watched it, and it doesn't look good.
Let's get to your number 1, because I swear, if it's who I think it is, I'm unplugging everything in.
Ravens?
Oh, I thought you was gonna put the Cowboys in number 1. I was like,
no. So here's the thing. No, hell no. No.
Um,
No. I listen. I'm a fan, but I'm also a fan of the game, and I won't cheat the game like that. I would never.
so you got the Ravens as number one.
I have the Ravens as the best team in the league, yo. I have the Ravens as the best. I think now here's the thing. I think this list is going to change next week. I think the Ravens are going to beat Seattle, easily, because Seattle has to come across the country. I think that the Cowboys beat the Eagles. And like that Miami Chiefs game, I honestly don't know who's going to win, but I'll probably put I have Miami winning that game. You know, so I have the Cowboys at 7.
Yeah, like I said, the Ravens are good. And I do think that they deserve to be in the top 5. I don't know if they're the number 1 team, but I think that they're good, right?
Mm-hmm.
That defense is lights out, and I see Lamar taking strides. His receivers are not doing him the justice that he's putting the ball where it needs to be.
Right.
And I'm happy that he's actually showcasing what a talent he is. I just I can't put them at number 1 yet. We'll see. Like you said, this list is going to change.
Absolutely.
You know, based
So
off.
you have a number 1.
I got the Eagles.
Okay. All right. Why?
I'm gonna be honest, right? As we've talked about, every single team has weaknesses.
Oh, absolutely.
And every team is beatable in every way, right? So I think initially when the season started, to your point about Miami, they looked unbeatable, right? Miami looked like it was the team to beat. But as the season has progressed, we've looked at it and we've seen like, okay, they can be beat. At the beginning of the season, the 49ers looked like they couldn't be beat. We looked unbeatable.
Right.
But as the season has progressed, we've seen, we can be beat too. And I think it's no clear-cut favorite to where you're like, you know what? I'm looking at that team and I feel like that they're going to win it and nobody else has a shot. Sometimes we feel like that about the Chiefs, but I think the Chiefs even look like they could be beat on the right day, you know?
Right,
so it's going to be interesting.
So, right. And it's all about who's going to I guess mask those questions or those deficiencies that, because every team has some sort of deficiency. So it's like who's going to do a better job of masking these deficiencies. Now, I see in the comments, Phil, I guess, is a Ravens fan. I don't really know who this guy is, but nonetheless, he's saying that they're too inconsistent, and I don't think so. Right? I feel like they went to Arizona. They were on the road, and we have to realize that Arizona is going to play every single team tough. It is what it is. They're getting paid too, and they don't want to be looked at as like laughing stock or whatever. These guys are playing hard, and like fluky things happen. Like, well, I don't know if Aguilar. First of all, I don't even know why Aguilar is on the hands team for anybody. He can't catch a damn cold. But that was a bit fluky, and if that doesn't happen, you win by 3 scores.
But to Phil's point, it's any given Sunday, right? And we've said it in the NFL. We keep saying it is. You don't know which week. The Bills should be in consideration.
I don't have them in my top 5, but
they're somewhere around there. I mean,
you know what I'll do? I'll move the Cowboys. I'll put the Cowboys at 8 and put the Bills at 7.
Again, though, but we were just talking earlier, right? If the Cowboys win next week, then you got to put them in consideration for the top teams. You know that's a fact. And I'll take my own bias there. I think if they walk into Philadelphia and they beat what I consider the best team in the NFL right now, and they beat them with what you said, they've got to be in the consideration. So
somebody wants me to give them some attention. So I'm gonna give old Chucky O some attention. So here's the thing. you don't even believe that the Cowboys are going to lose to the Carolina Panthers. And yes, we have this bet. And you know what, Charles, you're a good friend of the show and of Scott and myself. You should come on the show on the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, the night before Thanksgiving, and you can come on the show. The Cowboys would have played the 22nd. The Cowboys would have played the Panthers that Sunday, and after we beat you guys by 40, it probably won't be 40 in the NFL, but after we beat you guys by 20, I want you to come on the show. I want you to make sure that the cameras are rolling because it won't be radio style. It's gonna and make sure you have your egg, and and we handle business how we gotta handle business. We'll make sure we have whatever we got, plastic, newspaper, whatever we gotta do, because I'm sick of this. And I just beat him in the battle. But no, that's neither here nor there.
So we do got a couple things. Rest in peace, Bob Knight.
Rest in peace, Bob Knight.
And also, if you have not saw Flavor Flav singing the national anthem at the Bucks game on Monday, check that out.
Wow,
I liked it.
Stop it, Scott.
I did, man. I thought he did a good job. Did you see it?
I did see it, and I mean, it was like I felt like I was being punked.
Yo. That's how I felt first. And then I listened to him. I was like, okay.
So he's the modern day Whitney Houston, huh?
No.
Jesus.
No. He's definitely like that. But
so let me ask you this, because a few years ago, actually it was about 5 years ago, it seemed just like yesterday, we were recording the night the Nationals won the World Series. The World Series right now is 3-1 in Texas's favor. They just warming up the championship, everything, because whatever. But who do you have? Do you have Texas closing them out tonight?
Yeah, I do have them closing. It's bad for baseball. But the Rangers have just been that team. And it's funny that you bring that up because I was thinking about the Rangers during when we were having that football conversation is as long as you get hot at the right time, you can go on the right run. And that's what I feel like this season is going to come down to is for the NFL is going to be – it could end up being like a Giants season when the Giants won the Super Bowl to where they were like 9-7 or something like that, or they just figured out how to play good football at the right time. So this season definitely has hey, if we can figure it out at the right time, we have a shot. Or if we just make the playoffs, we have a shot to win it all.
Well, I'm gonna tell you like this. Who won the World Series last year? The Astros. I don't know if I'm right or not, but I feel like they won on a Wednesday. But they didn't. They did. I think the last team that won on a Wednesday was the Nationals. And I'm gonna go with the Rangers as well, closing them out tonight. The Diamondbacks they got a good team. And they keeping it close now. It's 0-0 in the fourth. But man, oh man, it got ugly yesterday. It was ugly. It was 10-0 in the third. I think they ended up winning like 11-7 or something like that.
And the Rangers is just red hot. I mean, they got I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. Caught them looking.
So, all right, man. But yeah, so we're gonna make sure that the camera and I think my petty camera start acting up.
Well, absolutely. You haven't gotten that petty in a long time. It's like, God dang.
Scott had no idea, and we had to do it for the show, man. But nonetheless, we got next week, man. Be on the lookout. if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube, you know, it's Off the Record. Off the Record show. The OTR brand is Twitter. The Off the Record show on Instagram. Yada 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 yada. So,
thank you, Charles. At Karma Countdown.
What? First of all, that sounds. I mean, your karma could start too, sir. Whatever, you know. But anyway, this is Off the Record. I'm Anthony Adebayo.
It's boy Scotty B.
Yeah, we out here. We out here.
We Off the Record. Anthony Adebayo. We Off the Record.
With you there, but if you're a coach, do you take that chance?
Yes.
You can reach us at the Off the Record Show at gmail.com. Anthony Adebayo and the most accurate sports coverage. Scotty B's Fantasy 5.
We're different from any other sport.
His sophomore year. Comes back and says, you know what?
And your boy, Scotty B.